Welcome to episode 119 of the Groan Zone. We have a lot of content in this week's show as ideas form and grow. There's a new game in development and it has just been tested, or should I say, has been tested. In fact, it may pop up on this week's show. For episode 120, that's next week, that will hopefully be our first YouTube episode with audio only. There's never going to be a face reveal unless you know me already. I've already said that. It'll all be new to us, but please bear with us. And also, it'll also still be on other platforms, so you'll still go to Podbean, Spotify, or wherever you listen to the podcast, you'll still be able to find it. I'll be testing YouTube over the weekend and the forthcoming week. Exciting developments coming, Groaners. I can't wait. 2025 is going to be a good year, and we've already broken 1,600 downloads. That's something else that's happened. Now, speaking of games, this week's Grey Matter Busters are Yes OBS, the 5-Point Countdown, and Admin Nicole's Anagram Anxiety, and of course, our brand new game. More on that later on. Your audience groan rolls in from Carla of Newport, Wales, via Facebook Messenger. Here we go, Groaners. On with the show, starting off with, of course, gotta be my groans. Lifts or elevators? The same thing, just elevators are what's called in America, lifts what we call in the UK. I don't have a phobia of these things. The other day, I was in one, pressed on my floor, it didn't stop. It went to the ground floor. Pressed again, it went up 2 floors. Then it went down 3 more. Remember, I was pressing for floor number 2. It then went to the top floor and back down 3. I just got off and walked down to floor 2. Why in 2025 does a lift have a vendetta against me? I think I'm going to take the stairs next time. No soap. You go to the bathroom, either in a pub, or your home, or wherever, and you finish your business in there. You move to the sink to wash your hands. Suddenly, oh crap, no pun intended, there's no soap. You are now in a predicament where you can't wash your hands. Yes, there are probably people out there that don't wash your hands. I've already said this in the past, that annoys me as well. If you don't wash your hands, wash them for God's sake. You're left thinking, why me? This is even worse in public because you can't just go to another room. Because, well, if there's no soap in the sink in the pub or wherever, you can't go elsewhere. What are you going to do as a man going to the ladies? Good luck with that. In-house, always make sure you place soap where there's very little left. In clubs, etc. Come on, staff. Surely you check these things. And by staff, I mean cleaning staff. Ghosties. No, I'm not talking about paranormal, Ghostbuster stuff. More rather, I'm talking about phantom poops. You go to the bathroom, you sit down, and just nothing happens. Then suddenly, you fart, break wind, whatever. You get up, and sensation repeats. And when it goes, you've still not had a cack. It's a weird feeling. Ghosty poos. I don't get it. You don't need one, so why must you fart? Or have the need to have a crap when you don't need one? Weird. The human body's a weird thing. There's my turnover, as I push my groans into the swirling abyss of the Groan Zone once more. Your turn comes later, Groaners. I sense our first game is ready to rock and roll. On to the 5-Point Countdown. Once again, all clues are related. If you get it right at clue number 5, but then change your guess, your points are reset until you change back to the right answer further down. Of course, you're not going to know that until you get the answer. So say if you got it right at clue 5, but then change your mind at clue 4, say something like, well, I think it's beach ball. Beach ball was the right answer. You then change your mind to football. Down on clue 4. Then again, further down on clue number 2, you change back to beach ball. That would mean you get 2 points if you don't change your mind again. On with the game. Clue 5 for 5 points. I can be used in food and drink. Clue 5 for 5 points once more. I can be used in food and drink. Groaners Live, answers please. Those at home, you know what to do. We've got spoons coming in. That's a good answer. Good answer because you stir spoons. You eat like food with spoons. Any other guesses? Stirrers. Okay, that's along the same lines. Okay. Any more? Nope. Any more getting for the guesses going? Gonna move on a bit. Nope. Okay. Clue 4 for 4 points. I occur naturally, but can also be made artificially. Clue again. Clue 4 for 4 points. I occur naturally, but can also be made artificially. Go Groaners live answers, please. Those at home, you know what to do. Someone's put sugar. Someone's put salt. Someone's wrote grit. Right. I'll reiterate that again, Groaners. All clues are related. Grit is not used in food and drink, okay? Unless you work in a very scummy diner, okay? Any more? Any more guesses? Okay. Moving on, clue 3 for 3 points. There are many brands of me across the world. Clue 3 for 3 points. There are many brands of me across the world. Someone's wrote cane sugar. Someone else has wrote sugar. Someone's put sweetener. Okay. I don't think sweetener occurs naturally, but okay. Moving on. Clue 2 for 2 points. On my own, I'm gritty. If you bite down on me. Someone's wrote pebbles. Is this the rocks thing come up again? I don't understand. Pebbles. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. I'm gonna move straight on from there because I know the guesses. Pebbles indeed. Clue 1 for 1 point. Too much of me can rot your teeth. Clue 1 for 1 point. Too much of me can rot your teeth. And the word sugar just popped up at least 15 times. Okay, I think we can safely move on there. Yep, sugar, 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 sugar. Okay, I hear you, Groaners. Alright, okay. The answer will come later, Groaners, but for now we must ask the age-old question of why oh why. I've raised this before on the podcast, but I'm going to do it again. You've all seen this. We get loads of alerts on news, etc. and such. Asteroid heading towards Earth, blah 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 blah. The issue is, why cause a panic? All these times it's projected to come within billions of miles or a near miss. How about telling us when a sizable asteroid is coming and will definitely hit, but they have a plan? Or you discover a planet killer is hitting us in 1 hour and everything they tried had failed and were all doomed. Just avoid Just avoid asteroid false alarms. I just have to ask, why oh why? Why do it? Just don't give us false facts. Give us the truth. We can take it. Moving us along now, it's that section of the show where we give away the creepy with Admin Nicole's Creepy Corner. Your story for this week is A Risk Worth Taking. Once again, the sisters were left alone, trapped in a cage with no roof. Both had wings, but one couldn't fly, and the other didn't have enough room to fly. Viola was visibly getting weaker as she sat on the floor, leaning against the cold stone walls. Valencia kept pacing, trying to think of a way out. That is until Timmy showed up, but he wasn't there to help. His new role as an archivist and the pride of space meant that it was now his job to record every event as and when it happens. Thanks to his father, he was granted more benefits to help carry out his job. He could become invisible whenever he wanted, but since the cage was left unguarded, he saw no point to it. Valencia demanded help, but Timmy just told her it was no longer his place to. His father, as the primal of time, would tell him when to go, and Timmy, as the primal of space, would know where. Something big was going to happen right where they were, and it was his job to record it all. If she dies, I'll make sure you regret a lot of things, so help us like the old days. There has to be something, you know, right, Timmy? Valencia asked. Just this once then, for old time's sake. The old man saw. You will see your own too. Choices will come, ones you won't like, but be warned, your sacrifices are far from over. There will be truths you won't like, but to save the family you once gave your life for, you'll have to do it again. It might even be permanent this time. Me and Kronos haven't seen the end yet, which means it hasn't been decided. A sacrifice is only invisible to death, as it is the one type of death that can't be predicted, so don't be surprised when you figure out what you need to do, Timmy explained. After that he went silent and pulled out his parchment from his bag and went invisible. Back to his official job. He wondered if he'd said too much, but if anyone deserved to know what they were getting into, it would be her. no one needed to know more than Valencia after all. Valencia had no choice but to put it to the back of her mind and get out of the cage for now. Her wings were too wide to fly out, and the bars were too far apart to climb out. She leaned on the door of the cage, trying to think about how to get out, but to her surprise, she fell through. When the Tooth Fairies brought food, they must have forgotten to lock the cage, which meant they could have escaped an hour ago. Valencia had no time to dwell on it. The Tooth Fairies were quick to gossip and all spoke rather loudly, so she knew exactly where to go. She helped Viola off the ground, and together they slowly made their way around the bends of this strange stone realm. An old wooden door stood tall in front of them. Valencia helped Viola to a small stone wall that sat in front of a waterfall and kicked down the door, hoping to make as minimal noise as possible. Relics of all kinds scattered the room, all dumped on the floor with no system at all. It was as if the Tooth Fairies had no idea what to do with them and just threw it all in there. An old stone chair covered in velvet and moss stood proudly at the back of the room. Valencia moved things out of the way in order to help Viola sit down. She was so focused on things that she didn't even hear the ever so quiet hum that emanated from the chair as Viola sat down. Viola was about to pass out, but Valencia kept talking to her as she dug through the relics. If she could keep her awake, then it wouldn't be too late. Valencia dug through the relics looking for anything that might be what this relic was. The thing that would awaken the Death Maidens. That is, until she heard a voice coming from the ground. An old mirror. It had Valencia's reflection, but you could feel it wasn't her. Especially when the reflection acted differently to how she did. Then it spoke. Time is low and running out. Follow the scar, believe the man. You are both needed to end what is coming, the mirror said. Valencia looked over at Viola, who was now completely covered by the vines now. She promised the mirror to do what she could, but right now she had other priorities. She snuck the mirror into her pocket and kept looking. Nothing had the same marking as the one on Viola's hand. Then she heard footsteps. Too many footsteps. The Tooth Fairies had found out. They were coming. No more digging through relics. She had to be quick and just take a risk. She reached her hand deep in the pile in front of her and pulled a silver crown wrapped in moss and vines. It was embedded with jewels of amethyst and jade. The fairies were there. It was too late. Valencia was surrounded. They demanded she drop the crown, but she couldn't. She had mere seconds before she lost Viola for good, and there wasn't a better time for a risk than right now. The crown was tight in her hand as she ran towards Viola, but as she tripped, her hand grabbed the first thing it could, a dusty, partially burned book. She kept her grip on both items as she ran out to Viola. As she stood, surrounded by an army of Tooth Fairies, she knew it was now or never. If she surrendered, Viola would die. Valencia, however, was already dead, and she wasn't going to lose anybody else. This was a risk worth taking. The mystery just keeps getting deeper for our two heroines. Our fave admin will bring us more creepy next week. Now then, in life, we all need luck, but some of us get it, whilst others are just, unlucky. A former New Jersey senator has just had a sentence of prison handed to him for 11 years. Why? He was convicted on corruption and bribery charges. He accepted 16 gold bars, cash, and a Mercedes-Benz, amongst other things, in exchange for assisting foreign governments. He should have got a full 15 years, but a judge relented and gave him 11 instead. He is 71, and if he serves a full 11 years, it's possible he may die in prison. The words, "If you can't do the time, don't do the crime," come to mind. He cried in court, but I doubt these were tears of guilt. Unlucky. Luck stays with us now, or should I say hopefully, you groaners, as we play Yes or BS. Everyone should know this one by now, but if you're new, I'll explain it. Avoid the false statements. You pick a false statement, your points get blanked. So if you get a point in round 1, and you get it wrong in round 2, you have no points, unless you get another point in round 3. That's the basic gist of it. Round 1, the Do You Gamble round? A. The term jackpot came into use from the 14th century onwards. B. The game poker was invented in New York in the 1730s. Or C. The first one-on banded fruit machine was invented in the late 1890s. Go Groaners Live, guesses please. Those at home, you know what to do. We've got C's flying in there. More C's flying in there. A B, an A, and more C's. Okay. Any more? Nope. Moving on. Round 2. The first what round? A. The first heart transplant was performed in the late 1960s. B. The first passenger plane came into service in 1899. Or C. The world's first domestic car airbag was used in 1973. Go Groaners Live. Answers please. Those at home, same as before. We have A's flying in there. More A's flying in there. B's flying in. C's flying in. We have a spread across the board there. Any more? Few more A's. And a couple of C's. Okay. Last round, round 3. The how slow can you go round? A. A sloth's top speed is 1 km per hour. B. The Peel P50 is the world's slowest car. Or C. The slowest food to cook is beef stew. Go Groaners Live. Answers please. Those at home, same as before. We have C's flying in there. B's flying in there. An A came in there. More B's. More A's. And a C. Okay. Groaners Live, I hear loud and clear. Groaner at home, hope you put your guesses in, because that game is now over. The answers will come soon enough, but now, yes, Groan of the Week, front and centre, as we read out the audience groan. From Carla of Newport, Wales, as stated before. Hi all, been meaning to send this in for ages. Why is it you find yourself at the mercy of bus drivers who clearly don't give a feather or a fig if they're late or don't turn up? The knock-on effect is you're either left stranded or you can't get into work. My boyfriend works night shift, so he cannot take me to work, and there are only 2 buses in the morning. Can bus companies and their drivers show more concern and compassion towards their customers, instead of thinking about the money or their fag break? Fag break meaning cigarette here in the UK. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry, that should say, thanks for letting me vent. Carla, I imagine you've had many moments like this. I've been in similar situations. You expressed how passengers across countries feel when buses shaft them. Thanks for the groan. If you want to throw us a groan, just like Carla did, you can do so. Or you can give us further content, ideas, anything you want to throw at us, as long as it's civilized, you can do so on the following. You can drop us an email at thegroanzonepod@gmail.com. You can send us a Facebook message on Nicole Amos or Mystery Groaner. You can find us on Facebook groups under the Groan Zone Podcast Facebook group. Find us on Discord under the Groan Zone Podcast, where we record the podcast usually every Friday at 8:30 Greenwich Mean Time. And lastly, you can throw anything you want under any episode and it will be picked up and reviewed. From Groans Now, we sift through the dregs of society to name our zero of the week. We all have good and bad moments with our families. But what if they try and stop you from doing something which you know will make you happy? A girl who was of the Jehovah's Witness faith was disowned by her family for falling for and pursuing a relationship with a boy who was not of her faith, who she met in TK Maxx. She was expected to go with someone of her same religion. I'm sorry, but life happens. It's called understanding and tolerance. Good luck to her, I say. As for her family, you're a bunch of zeros. And for being intolerant and nasty and mean, you've lost your daughter, granddaughter, sister, or whatever she was to you. You've lost her now. Good luck to her. Moving on once again, we have a game double whammy now. First up is Admin Nicole's Anagram Anxiety. Your anagram for this week is authorizing tech. Your clue is an animal that is also known as Amoy. That's A-M or Y. I've no idea what this could be. Haven't got a clue, so don't look at me, groaners. I have no idea. I'm hopeless with these things. I think I've only got maybe 2 or 3 since the game started. But good luck to us all. Next game up is Talking Nonsense. Well, groaners, we're going to do a test version 3-rounder of this game to see how it fits. This game will be recorded after the live broadcast, since I'll be saying the answers normally, which would defeat the purpose of the game. With luck, the game will become a mainstay of the show and also fit in the themes of the episode at the end of the show. It'll be inserted pre-outro. I give you a clue as to what the word is. When you hear the word, it'll be played in reverse, sounding probably like nonsense. So I could say something like, it's white and we all have it inside of us. I'd say the word skeleton, but it'd be flipped backwards, so you'd hear the word backwards. This won't replace any games. Maybe, maybe not. I'm quite undecided right now. Just a bit of extra fun for us all. The answers will be given right after the game is played, alongside the others. See if you can unjumble the nonsense. Good luck. Round 1. I can be many sizes, and you carry me. Your word is six. Round 2. You can use me to get parts of your body clean. Your word is full. Round 3. You may use me to write an essay. Your word is lobby. Pause here, have a little think, answer, then unpause. Here come the game answers. Talking nonsense first. Your answer for round 1 was the word suitcase. Your answer for round 2 was the word loofah. Your answer for round 3 was the word keyboard. Yes or BS? Round 1. The do you gamble round. A. The term jackpot came into use from the 14th century onwards. This is false. It came into use in the late 19th century. B. The game poker was invented in New York in the 1730s. That's false. It was invented in New Orleans between 1810 and 1825. If you went for C, congratulations, you got 1 point. The first one-arm banded fruit machine was invented in the late 1890s. It was called the Liberty Bell. Round 2. The first what round? A. If you went for this one, congrats, you got a point. The first heart transplant was performed in the late 1960s. It was human to human and carried out in 1967. If you went for B, the first passenger plane came into service in 1899. That's false. It was 1914 and called the Benwast 14 Flying Boat. If you went for option C, congratulations, you have a point. The world's first domestic car airbag was used in 1973. It was used by the General Motors Company. Last round, round 3. The how slow can you go round? A. A sloth's top speed is 1 km per hour. This is false. It actually moves at 0.24 kilometers an hour. That's less than 1. B. Going for this one, you got a point. The PLP 50 is the world's slowest car. Its top speed is 45 kilometers an hour. And if you went for C, the slowest food to cook is beef stew, this is false. It's generally considered to be beef brisket due to taking longer to become tender. The 5-point countdown. Your answer was sugar. Who the hell am I from last week? Your answer was Stephen Yueng. Or could be Yuen. If I pronounced that, my apologies, especially to Stephen. With luck, you got points and had fun along the way. I know I was laughing doing this episode thanks to the new game. We'll return hopefully with a new show, still be on unusual platforms, but YouTube will be under our belt too, all going to plan. Exciting times ahead for our humble little show. Don't be shy to contact us with your items for content. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye. We go from groans now. We shift the dregs of humanity to name. I'm going to do that again. We move on from groans to the... I've wrote this out. I've written this wrong. Don't be shy to contact us with your...